Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be doing my November and December wrap up, and this video is being sponsored by the app LIBIB, which I will talk about at the end of this video, but I have been slacking on the wrap ups, as you can tell. That's why I'm mashing these two together. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to show you guys the books that I read in November 1st. The first book I read in the month of November was The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I bet none of you guys know what this book is about at all, do you? You don't, do you? If you don't know what this book is about, it's about this boy named Percy who is going through some hardships in his life. He's constantly being kicked out of school, and his stepfather is just downright awful. And then one day he finds out that his father may or may not be a Greek god. Holy crapiola, what even? I have been avoiding the series for so long because it's been so hyped here on BookTube, but I finally got around to reading it, and I'm really happy that I did because it's just so fun. Like, it's just such a fun series. Rick Riordan has a fantastic writing style. His characters are hilarious and just sometimes downright sassy, which I loved. And this book was just full of adventure and monster madness. All of the monsters in this book. I really enjoyed the monsters. For those of you who have read this book, I actually did a full discussion video, which I will link in the doobly-doo, so definitely go check that out and hear my thoughts, opinions, and feels, and tell me your thoughts, opinions, and feels. Ooh, Then my aunt lent me this book called See You at Harry's by Joe Knowles, and she really wanted me to read it, so I was like, you know what, I'll read that. It's a pretty short book. It looks like it'll just be a light-hearted, fun little read. Come to find out, this book just completely messed with my emotions. I may or may not have shed a tear or two while reading this book, and I was not expecting it. Like, you just see this cover and it's like, oh yeah, that just looks like a fun little book. And then you read it and you're like, yeah, so fun. Anyways, this book is about a girl named Fern, and she's having a hard time feeling like she belongs, and she just kind of feels invisible a lot of the time. And we have all these different relationships that we see and how they affect her. We've got her mother, her father, her brother, her sister, her younger brother, and some of her friendships, like all these just different relationships that are just affecting her life. And then we have this thing that happens that you think you see coming, but you don't really see it coming, and it just completely messes with you, and it completely changes the family dynamic we see within this book and the different relationships and friendships, and it's just, oh, it's an emotional book. So if you're looking for a book that will move you in an unexpected way, I would definitely pick up See You at Harry's by Joe Knowles. I would highly recommend this book, actually. It's just really good. It's really good, guys. Then I read the graphic novel The Rinches, and this is about a boy who falls into a comic book called The Rinches, and it's about this world that has these creatures called the Shadow Men, and they just kill anybody in their path. And The Rinches is this group of people that try to take down the Shadow Men. Ooh, so scary. This graphic novel was really interesting. I really liked the artwork. That's something that I did really like. I really liked this kind of darker tone of images, but I struggled with the plot line on this one. It just didn't feel like it was going anywhere. It had potential to have this amazing turnout, but it just kind of fell flat for me. And then I picked up the first Adventure Time graphic novel, which was gifted to me by Katrina from Little Book Owl for my birthday, and I finally got to it, and I really enjoyed it. I love how vibrant this graphic novel is. There's so many poppin' colors just popping in your face, just pop, pop, pop. They were popping. But I did have an issue with this graphic novel. I just kind of felt like it was all over the place, which in some ways kind of reminds me of the show, because the show is just like, has so many things going, and that's kind of how this graphic novel felt. Like, it just kind of felt like it was all over the place, and I was like, whoa, can we focus on something? Can we just focus? And there's all these different little elements within the story, and to me it kind of felt a little bit distracting, but for the most part I still really enjoyed this graphic novel, and I didn't take it too seriously because, I mean, come on, it's Adventure Time. Then I read Schizo by Nick Sheff, and this is about a boy who has schizophrenia, and he becomes obsessed with finding his brother who has been kidnapped. This book was really dark and really sad and kind of twisted, but I can't say that I love this book. I had a few issues with it, the first one being the writing. The writing was a bit strange to me. I also felt like these different side plot elements were just meaningless. They were just like there, just there, just there. But there was a major plot twist in this book that I didn't see coming at all, and if you did see it coming, then props to you, because I was just like, what? okay. And then I read the graphic novel Coraline. This is my second time reading the story of Coraline, and while I enjoy the story of Coraline, I didn't feel like this graphic novel was a very good adaptation of the story. I'm not a huge fan of the art style that we saw throughout this graphic novel, and it also really bugged me that Coraline is like a young teenager within this story, because the original story of Coraline, I'm pretty sure she's pretty young in that story. Like, I don't know her exact age, but she's definitely not a teenager. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, and yeah, I just wasn't a huge fan of this graphic novel adaptation, unfortunately. But I am so glad that I read it because I was interested to see what the art was gonna be like, but I just wasn't a huge fan. And then I read Hua Onix by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the second book in the Lux series, so I obviously can't talk about the plot because that would be spoilery. Ooh, ain't gonna spoil you for the series, you should read it for yourself. This series just keeps surprising me. I keep going into these books just thinking that I'm gonna hate them, mostly because of the covers, because I'm not a huge fan of these covers, and so I think, oh, those covers are awful, those books are gonna be awful. But I keep being pleasantly surprised by this series. There's so many plot twists, it's so action-packed, and the writing is something that I'm most surprised by. Like, Jennifer L. Armentrout is a fantastic writer, and so I'm really glad that I got the chance to read the sequel. And if you haven't started the series, you should, because it's so much fun. I will say though, that one thing that is a little bit of a turnoff to me is like all the steamy love scenes. I'm just not into that, and so that's just always a little bit uncomfortable for me. But other than that, the series is just so much fun, so definitely check it out if you get the chance. Then I read Smoke by Ellen Hopkins, which is the sequel to Burned by Ellen Hopkins. Ooh, Smoke. Burned, smoke, ooh, ah. If you've been wanting to try Ellen Hopkins, I would definitely recommend starting with this duology. Like, to me, this is the best that Ellen Hopkins has put out. I haven't read all of her books, but these have been my favorite of what I've read of hers. This duology is just such a crazy ride full of twists and turns and beautiful characters who are put into heartbreaking situations. I'm really glad that this ended up becoming a duology because I think that she was going to have Burned just be a standalone, and then she released Smoke, and I'm so happy that she did because it was just such a satisfying ending, and I'm happy that I got the chance to read it. And then I read Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi, which is the final book in the Shatter Me trilogy, and oh, I had mixed feelings about this book, and I wanted to love it so badly, but there were just some things that I wanted out of it that I didn't get, and I love the characters within this trilogy. I think that they are fantastic, but I feel like the main plot was shoved to the side and the characters became the main focus, and I wish there would have been more of a balance of the plot and the characters because I would have been fine with that. But this is a dystopian trilogy, and we had several things that needed to be resolved, and they were resolved in like the last 30 pages. And it just felt like it happened so quickly, it just felt a little bit rushed to me. But I still enjoyed this book, I still had a fun time reading it, and I love Tahereh Mafi's writing. She is such a fantastic writer, and I will definitely be picking up books that she puts out in the future because her writing is just so delicious. That was me eating her writing. And finally, the last book I read in the year of 2014 was My True Love Gave to Me. 12 Holiday Stories by a bunch of different authors. Ooh, I had a really hard time reading this book on Goodreads. I ended up giving it 3 stars because that's just kind of how it all balanced out. There were stories that I loved and stories that I really didn't like. Some that I just couldn't even get through. I was just like, I'm not wasting my time with this. Some of my favorite stories were Rainbow Rowell's, Jenny Han's, Gail Foreman's, Stephanie Perkins, and some of my least favorite were Holly Black's, Kelly Link's, Matt De La Pena. While I didn't enjoy every story within this book, I'm so glad that I got the chance to read it because it really put me in the holiday mood, and yes, it was good nonetheless. So that's my thoughts on My True Love Gave to Me. Woo! So November and December were pretty decent reading months. I got quite a bit done reading-wise, and I'm very happy about that. But now I'm going to tell you guys about the app LIBIB. Basically, LIBIB is this app where you can just make a bunch of lists and add books to that list. Like, you can just scan the book and it just appears on the list. It's like magic, guys. It's like magic. It's basically like if Goodreads and Twitter got together and had a baby, it would be this app. When it comes to categorizing my books, I prefer using this app over Goodreads. I'm not a huge fan of how you categorize books on Goodreads. It's kind of annoying and just frustrating, so this app was really refreshing. So I'm gonna show you guys how to use it now. And I'm also gonna show you guys some of my libraries on here. Okay, so this is the best angle we're gonna get here, but here's the app, LIBIB. As you can see, I've got all sorts of different libraries going on here. I've got 2015 purchases, my book wish list, book to movie adaptations, borrowed books, completed series, manga, books I've received as gifts, etc., etc. Just a bunch of different lists. And you can actually go in and find me on the LIBIB app. My username is, of course, Jesse the Reader. So do that and I'll follow you back and stuff, and I can see all your lists and you can see all mine. Ooh, exciting stuff. So I'm going to show you now how to make a library and to add books to it, because it can be kind of hard when you're first downloading the app to figure it out and such. So I'm going to do that. So we're going to click this little plus sign up here in the top left corner, plus, and you're going to create a library. I'm going to create a random one. So it's going to be just titled book. And you can type in a description. I'm going to say this is a book, period. And then you're gonna select the library type. You've got books, movies, video games, music. Of course, we're gonna go with books for this one. I'm gonna click submit. Voila, I have added a library. So I'm gonna go to add items, and I'm going to find the library that I want to add books to. And of course, I wanna add to the book library. And then this scanner will pop up, and all you have to do is get a book. We're gonna use My True Love Gave to Me, and you just hold it over the barcode, and voila, My True Love Gave to Me was added to the library. So we're gonna click done, go back to the library, we're gonna click on my book library, and as you can see, My True Love Gave to Me is there. It's got a description, and it's got reviews. So definitely go and download it and add me, and I'll add you guys back. I'll follow you so I can creep on all your lists and such. So yeah. Awesome. So that was my November and December wrap up. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Later. And I would be very surprised. For those of you who made me feel all the feels, Anyways, this book is about a girl named Fern who's just kind of struggling in some way. Oh, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. What am I trying to say? The description of this book is not something that sounds like something I would be interested in. I'm not a huge fan of the categories